Stephanie. It's good to see you.
You too.
Good. Well, I'm so excited, first of all, that you are here with me tonight, but also that you made the decision to join us at Nectarfull.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, I just know, like, as soon as our first conversation, I knew that you were just meant to be part of what God's doing at Nectarfull, and I just couldn't be more
Yes.
excited. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about you and what brought you to wanting to be a coach. Maybe we'll start with some basic stuff.
Let's see. Well, honestly, I think I've always been a coach, but never gave it that name. Years ago, I always just seemed to, I'm gonna say for the last probably 30 years, have been helping women, coaching them, but did it, I had no term for it. But I remember always wondering why are married women always coming to talk to me? Why are people always coming to talk to me like what? And I could just do it so easily. So I'm as life has evolved, I am a marriage and women's life coach and love it. I'm a minister. I have a podcast. I write books. I've written, I think it was it's either 15 or 18, but three are like a little cookbook thing and a journal and a puzzle book, but they count because they
They
were
still
work.
count. They have barcodes. I tell my husband if it has a
Yes.
barcode, it's a real
Yes,
book.
I have a barcode. I have my own imprint. So I just love all the things I do. And I have a deep passion for helping women who are struggling life with their purpose, with destiny, with um, just what they're doing, just lost, or church women, you're living one way and then you have another life, that part, or you're just living as roommates with your husband, struggling through marriage. And I got here through going through the worst hell pain of my life, going through divorce and depression and unforgiveness and anger and hurt and rejection and not knowing God as father and orphan heart and identity, just a whole bunch of stuff. It flipped my life upside down and used the terms, I didn't sign up for this. It's not what
Yeah.
I signed up for.
Yeah.
And was really, really hard. But I tell people absolutely am so glad that he cheated the way he did and did all the things he did and all the pain I went through, because I never would have had the relationship I have right now with Father God, coming out of how I got, God used it to heal me of orphan heart and to minister to other women. So it was worth every bit of pain I went through, but I wouldn't want to do it again. I understand it in other women. Like I fully understand it, what they go through. Oh yeah, it's very difficult.
That's amazing that you're
Mhm.
allowing God to use like the pain that you went through to help
Mhm.
others. Does that ever make you feel like, gosh, like that pain is still there, or does it make you, how do you handle that, or how do you process that?
The pain, the pain was so excruciating. Very, very few people who are really close to me know what the pain was like. I was in such depression and pain and anger. I lived in my master bedroom closet for for a long time. Like meaning I would just stay in there kind of like all day. I would come out, go through drive through for the kids, go back in the closet. They ended up homeschooling themselves basically for like probably a good year or two of this. Just struggled. I went to church all the time, but I was in deep, deep, deep depression. But the pain, I knew that if I gave in to the pain consistently and say went to a sin life, I was never going to come out. I was never going to be better. Like I was never going to get better. So my spiritual mom is the one who really helped me and just saved my life. I say that she was like Jesus with skin on. But I was extremely obedient through the pain. And that's the one thing that I see in women that I counsel is they're not obedient. Most
Mm,
women, they're in so much pain. The first thing that goes out the window is obedience and surrender.
yeah.
They don't want to surrender to God. They don't want to surrender to a person helping them or authority, and they won't obey an instruction. They just listen to their flesh constantly. And I know what that's like because I was in that place where, listen, my flesh would scream. It would scream, you want revenge, go get revenge, go find your husband in the streets, go do this, go do that, all this crazy stuff. And I didn't go do those things. I didn't live in that space. I remember having a girlfriend, we all have that one. She's our ride and die. She's like,
Yes.
girl, girl, I'll go with you. We'll find him. Let's go. And I knew not to call her because
Yeah.
we were going to go to jail
Mm.
if I had called her. So I listened to my spiritual mom and obeyed. Now, Stephanie, that's not what you want to do. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. That is what I want to do. I am angry and that's what I want to do. And I want to go down to the hotel and I want to find him. And I was going to stand up on the table, looking good because you weren't going to go catch the mistress looking crazy, right? I was going to be looking good, but I was going to kill her and stomp him to the hospital
Yeah.
and go to jail. And God's like, no. And my spiritual mom was like, okay, now you're a woman of God. God's going to use you one day for women. No, he's not. He's not. And I don't want him to because I don't want to minister to no women because they all cheat. That's what I said. That was so crazy.
They're all after my husband.
It's so crazy. And I don't even know how I survived. And I would listen to her words and then I would obey. And I wouldn't go. And then every time I obeyed an instruction or I did and not obeyed my flesh, I would grow in the anointing a little bit more. So when a woman would come to me with a problem, I don't even know how it happened. I would turn off what I was going through and I could minister to her. Started a marriage group, started a prayer group. Women's lives were changed. Marriages were getting help. And I'm over here like, hello, God, do
Yeah.
you see me? What about mine? And I had to be genuinely happy for other people, but mine was shipwrecked, just
Yeah.
shipwrecked. Even though I can't even tell you how many promises I have from God of my marriage actually being restored. And it's still not restored to this day. But I've gotten to this place where I know God's word is true. And God says, just keep ministering, just keep doing what you're doing for other people.
Yeah.
I'm going to take care of this part of your life. So he's been restoring and fixing parts of it as I've been going along out of obedience. I came out of the stopped living in the closet. And, he's just taking care of me and
Yeah.
my two sons. So, yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing that he's used that and just that you have found that that peace in obedience and like understanding that like obedience actually brings us more joy than we think. One thing that I thinking about like your background and when you were coming on to Nectarfull, it sounds like I mean you've had a walk with the Lord for a long, long time. So when did you decide to get your doctorate in theology?
It was sort of happenstance. I started the process in, I think it was like January of 2014. Maybe it was a little sooner than that. Maybe it was 2012. I've always loved studying and I've always loved the Word of God. But
Yeah.
when I was in like 18 years old, I'm 59. But when I was like getting ready to go to college back when you're 18, I wanted to go to Rhema Bible School.
Where's
Rhema
that?
or
Where's Reno?
Marilyn Hickey's Bible School,
Okay.
and was afraid to leave home. I grew up in Nebraska and you had to go to
Oh,
Oklahoma.
no.
So where Rhema was in Oklahoma.
Mhm.
And I think it's in Oklahoma. And I was afraid to leave and go, but I've always wanted to just really learn the Bible. So
Okay.
when my husband left in the middle of the night for his pregnant mistress and he left, I was so depressed that at my church I was going to, my spiritual parents started a Bible school through the Bible college there at the campus. And I signed up to take classes just so I could have a different thought in my mind to think instead of thinking about suicide, killing myself, leaving, depression, pain, hurt. He left me. I'm a
Yeah.
piece of trash, like all of this. It was just, I started just to think a different thought. But as I went through 100 courses, I got healed. Every class healed me. Every class healed me in a different area. Yeah, that's
Wow.
how it happened.
Literally the word of God healed you.
Hmm. Yeah,
Literally. Yeah.
it did.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. How do you feel like that has impacted your ability to coach into women's lives and into marriages, that
Oh,
you have that experience of going through those courses, having that doctorate, having that healing experience kind of all wrapped up? How does that work?
absolutely incredible. If people knew I knew about what I have learned, they would
Mhm.
run to a Bible college and go,
Mhm.
because the information that I learned was so life altering and life changing that I use all of it in coaching, every bit of it. Like I use it. The classes on prayer, the classes on stress management, the classes on, Old Testament, on the priesthood, on the Lord's Prayer, the book of Galatians, all of it.
Yeah.
I use all of it.
Hmm.
It is impacted. It's made my coaching more targeted, more impactful, especially the courses I took on orphan heart or orphan spirit. Most people aren't
Hmm.
familiar with that. 80% of the church is orphan, of
Yeah.
people are orphan.
Yeah.
And I run into them every single day, and they don't know it, and they don't know how to get healed from it. But
Mm.
I do. I know how you can get healed from it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
it affects marriage.
That's
Hmm.
awesome.
Yeah.
And you did, so I don't have all the years, so I won't use numbers, but you had done some like biblical counseling and coaching into marriages previously, if I understood correctly. So for years you've been doing that. And then
Hmm.
you stopped for a little while. And
Hmm.
then you said, okay, now well, I think God told you, right, that you're going back. Um,
Yeah.
Story. What called you back into it after a break, and what is your hope in what God's going to do through you in this next season?
I was okay. So when I started, I always was sort of coaching women. Then I got married, and then together we started coaching married couples.
Mm.
And we loved it, and we were good at it. I mean, I think my husband loved it more than I did. And we saw ourselves, like, really, this is how I saw it, doing this, helping couples. And when my husband made an announcement about, well, this is what we should be doing, we should be ministering to married couples and writing our own curriculum and blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
And the Lord showed me, the devil was like, I'm sorry. No, you're not. That's not what you're going to do. I'm getting ready to, turn on the iniquity that's in the bloodline because he's not aware of it. And I'm going to destroy this. And I didn't see this until just this year. And this was
Mm.
over 14, 15 years ago when this happened. Marriage just started imploding. Just and so because of that, we quit ministering to married people. We were going through this horrific, cheating, multiple women, just like I didn't even know who I was married to anymore. Fear, anger, like just I mean the gamut of emotions.
Mm.
So when he left and I started Bible school, I started back sort of just ministering to women. It
Hmm.
didn't matter if they were married or not, but I never really talked much about marriage stuff or the marriage course. Like I just wouldn't go into it. And I didn't realize that after we got divorced, I really didn't talk about it anymore because I felt shame.
Mm.
There are people I think today still do not know I'm divorced. And I've hidden from people and not told them, and family members. And,
Mm.
I had never experienced shame before. And I kept thinking, what is this weird feeling I'm feeling, like I want to
Mm.
hide. I don't want people to know. And didn't realize it was shame. So COVID came, I was ministering to people, and then that kind of, messed up everybody's lives. And then I had to come home from working at my church, counseling women to in my home office. And then it sort of just died off. So God set me, I didn't understand it at first, but looking back now, he
Mm.
set me on the shelf for like the last 3 years until the end of last year
Okay.
and said, I want you to go back into coaching. And I thought we were done with this. Like I've not like really coached like seriously anybody for maybe 2 years, three, almost
Mhm.
three. But people every now and then I'd run into. And I thought, okay, God, I'm just gonna write books, just do something else. And I even thought, well, is it my time to die? God, you're not really using
Oh,
me, my gift, like what is happening?
mhm.
And he said, it's time to go back into coaching. I thought, oh, wow, okay. And I revamped my whole coaching program and thought I'm going to, just coach single women. But if someone had have asked me, Stephanie, what is it you really, really want to do? What's in your heart that you really want to, that you just really want
Mhm.
to do? I would say, I just, and I only said it to a few people. I said, I
Mhm.
really want to minister to married people. I want to minister to married couples that are hurting and broken. I want to help people who've been divorced get remarried. And just, I want to do that with a mate. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm really called to do. I don't even need a book to do it. I know it so well. I can just cold turkey, just do it.
Yeah.
Love it. But won't do it because I'm divorced. I'm single. So I started working on the program for women, just women. Wasn't gonna like market myself as a marriage coach. I'm outside cutting the grass. This is September. It had to be like June this year. I'm cutting the grass and I'm just going up and down the rows. And God says, I'm not done with the assignment. And I thought, oh, no. I knew what he meant. He meant you're supposed to go and minister to married couples, write the marriage program, and just like you were with your husband, this is what you were supposed to do with the husband. And I thought, I remember going up the road, looking at my neighbor's house, going, no, that I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I went down another row and I said, and God doesn't like say, like really repeat himself. He says it once and you already know this is what it is. And he said, and I said, I can't, I'm single. And I'm telling y'all, he said it with the tone. He goes, guess what? I'm single too. I don't even know what. I quit mowing the yard. I laughed so hard out in my lawn, and it set me completely free from shame because I thought, well, dear Lord, the Lord is single. Jesus is
Mhm.
single. Holy Spirit is single. Father God, they are not married, but they talk about marriage all the time,
Yes.
all in the Bible. So
Yes.
I can talk about marriage. And it set me free, just on fire,
Mm.
to be free. No more shame that the marriage coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I don't need anybody's permission. I don't
Yeah.
need to be married to do it. Yeah.
I love that. It's
So
like
that,
setting your identity free.
yes,
Like God is our identity, like not how we see ourselves or what we feel like we're equipped to do or not equipped to do. But like he's the one that calls us there. I love that. I love that story.
yes.
That was when you and I talked the first time and you told me that story. I got the biggest kick out of that because
And we boohoo cried, right?
yes, we did boohoo cry.
Both of us cried.
I really cried because it's like when God walks us into places and into conversations and
Hmm.
into relationships and you can have that
That's
conversation.
right.
Like this was super intentional. Like
It
I
was.
we met on a Facebook group, random Facebook group, and then just started.
Can't even tell you the group right now. I don't even know.
I think it was a Christian business owner group or something
It
like that.
was such a godsend
Super
to
random,
meet
yeah.
you. Such a godsend to meet you because I have been working, working, working on this, like how to do this. And I just love your platform. It has helped me so much. And it's just wiped the whiteboard clean for how to get out there and minister to as a coach, but
Yeah.
to work with the other ladies, the other coaches, so there's support, because it's lonely being an entrepreneur doing your own business.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
It's lonely, and sometimes it's hard. Well, it's all the time hard, and people don't, the regular schmo doesn't know what you go through, and you struggle trying to just get support, or just, can somebody pray with me because I'm struggling with
Yeah.
this, or I'm tired, or something,
Hmm.
or to have that support. And
Yeah.
so you asked, where did you ask me? Where do I want this to go? Where do I see this going?
Yeah. Yeah.
I am, for the rest of my life, just clearly focused on helping people's marriages get saved, out of the
Hmm.
gutter, tanked out, side of the road, in drift, living like roommates, living on the fence, going to divorce court, because I can tell you right now, you're
Yeah.
going to pay wazoo out the yin yang for divorce. A lawyer may lose. I've got women friends who've lost half their 401k to a husband who's done nothing in the marriage but lie, cheat, abuse, and the judge says fork it over. They didn't even work for any of that money.
Yeah.
I've seen the pain and devastation. You're going to spend far more than that than you would coach with anyone
Hmm.
to, you know, to say, oh, divorce is the answer. Divorce is not the answer. It's just not it's not the answer. And I know there are people that are going to disagree with me, and I'm going to talk about a lot of controversial stuff that people don't want to talk
Hmm.
about. And I've got the, what do you want to call it? Fight dog spirit. Like, I'll go toe to toe with you about
Yeah.
covenant, about marriage,
Hmm.
because look at society. It's just broke
Hmm.
down.
Yeah.
Family is broke down. And I just can't see another marriage tanked out. And
Hmm.
people are doing this because they don't understand what God really says marriage is. They don't understand it. And they're not willing to work, or they don't have the skills or the tools to be in a godly marriage or a healthy marriage. They don't know. They didn't see it growing up. They didn't live in it. They've got their own issues, and it doesn't have to be. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be. And to help women, I also want to coach and help women because they're just hurting.
Yes.
We love hard. We do everything 100%. Most women, we're so hurt and wounded by men. I've heard somebody say 80% of what's wrong with a woman is at the hands of a man. I mean,
Hmm.
think about it. When a woman has a lot of trauma or something going on in her life or in the past, it's usually some man that caused it, a male person.
Oh,
It
yeah.
could be a husband, father, uncle, brother. It's the male figure has done something. 80, I think it's true.
Hmm.
At least it is in all the clients I've talked to that I've
Hmm.
had.
Yeah.
Every now and then it's a mom, but it's mainly a male and not another female.
Well, and the coaching and in the women for women and the marriages that you do, I think gives the opportunity to change legacy, right? So
Yes.
it's like if you can heal in that, get
Yes,
them past that trauma or that mental state, then they won't pass it on to their kids.
that's right.
Jeff and I always joke that Jeff, my husband, and Jeff and I kind of joke that we just hope that what our kids are in therapy for, sorry, mom and dad, that what our kids are in therapy for in 30 years is
Mhm.
maybe a little less intense than what we are in therapy for, what our parents
Right.
maybe were in therapy for, or what, right? So, like, I think if that's our hope, right, is that we can
Right.
as we grow and evolve and change that it's like, oh, like I can instill this new legacy with my kids that can change the future of family, can change the future of
Truthfully.
marriage. And
Because marriage, it's about leaving a legacy.
mm,
And hardly anybody can find intact family that's passing down good
mm,
God legacy. I mean,
right.
think about it. We talk about generational curses. We can see those everywhere in families and in people's personal lives. Babies out of wedlock, divorce, drugs, murder, all kinds of stuff just keeps getting passed down. Mama did it, grandmama, this one, it just, we're like, oh, this just runs in the family, the evil. But what about the God part of our lives
Yeah.
that God ordained? That's in the bloodline also. But we need to be focused on that and passing
Hmm.
that down. But we don't
Yeah.
focus on that
Yeah.
because there are things that God has placed in the bloodline, callings, giftings, ministries that our children are supposed to be doing, but they're not
Mm-hmm.
doing because no matter what, our children replicate us. They, some level, and we're never the perfect parent. We're
Yeah.
not going to be the perfect parent, but we need to be as close to godly parent as we can
Hmm.
and
No.
stay married and pass that down. It's a
Yeah.
legacy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is.
Mhm.
What would you say? So I know there's a big thing with coaching and therapy and counseling and mentorship. And you said a few minutes ago that you had spiritual
Parent.
parents. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
so all of those are amazing opportunities to seek help and support. And I think that in the world today, the known term, right, is either counseling or therapy. So people are like, I need a marriage counselor. I need a marriage
Mm-hmm.
therapist or psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
And what a lot of people don't understand is that coaching is different, is very different. So it's unregulated. Coaches, the coaching industry can help support
Mm-hmm.
in situations before either there isn't a clinical need, right? So if there's a clinical need, we always say you should maybe get some therapist
Mm-hmm.
support first. But in a lot of cases, people really just need coaching.
Yeah,
And
they
so,
do.
what would you say if they're on that fence and they're like, I'm not sure, do I need a coach or do I need a therapist? What would you say is true for people in that regard, or or what they should ask you?
I think that they should ask. I think they should seek out coaching. I think
Hmm.
churches should seek out having life coaches that are in a certain niche, like marriage or
Mm,
family or parenting, that type of thing. I think that they need to seek that out and ask questions because I think the coaches can get sort of like dig a little. I think some of them can dig a little deeper sometimes to the root of things or give you like a framework of what you can do,
yeah.
what like tools or skills for what you can, what how you can better, like say, okay, like for example, there's finance coaches. Okay,
Hmm.
people go to a finance coach. You don't find a finance therapist. You go to a finance coach to help you with finances, and they give you tools for saving money, investing, that kind of thing. So then there's marriage coaches that help you have tools for marriage, or parenting coach, because there are tools to help you have a
Hmm.
better marriage. There's certain things that a wife needs to do and a husband needs to do. And then parenting coaches, because some people literally, I mean, think about it. Where are you really going to learn parenting? Is that really in therapy? Is it really in therapy, or is it with somebody who God has gifted on how to parent and raise children?
Hmm.
Because you might go to a therapist who don't even have kids.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna tell you, you don't know about how to raise kids if you ain't raised no kids. You don't. You
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
so I think it's a good thing. I think if you need therapy, go to therapy. I think, that is needed. But I think coaching, I think it's just more broad,
Yeah.
hit more areas in a person's life.
Yep.
That's just what I think about it. And I think that because I actually do more than just marriage coaching. Like
Hmm.
I do forgiveness. And
Hmm.
forgiveness is a truck ton of what's wrong with people. They are walking around with unforgiveness towards all kinds of people and
Yeah.
situations. And it's hurting their own lives. Yeah.
Mhm. So what if you have one in marriage coaching, you have one, maybe, I guess, how would you handle if someone came to you and they have one spouse that wants coaching or says, I feel like our marriage could use some support, and then maybe one of the other spouse doesn't agree, or maybe isn't on the same page with that, how do you feel like you navigate that with the spouse that wants the support?
Well, I would ask them, ask the one that wants to come to coaching, talk to your mate and see if they're willing to come to like one session and just see what coach. Sometimes
Hmm.
people reject it because they don't know what it is,
Hmm.
or they think, I don't know, whatever they think in their mind about it. Come to one session or two just to see if it helps your benefits,
Hmm.
whatever the issue is. Pray about it, think about it, talk about it. But if one mate doesn't want to come, like say the husband doesn't want to come, I can still coach the wife if she wants to come, if they're in a bad, a stressful marriage or a bad place, because that wife needs support. There's things that she could do for herself that will make the marriage better for her
Hmm.
or for him. Because sometimes when one mate says they want coaching or therapy or counseling, or, when they start making a change, the marriage changes.
Right.
Sometimes one person needs to make an adjustment, and then the other person comes along and makes the adjustment. It's kind of like they've been waiting for you to make the adjustment. So then when you finally make the adjustment, it's like, oh, okay, it's
Yeah.
better. But I would say, if they want to go to therapy, then let them go to therapy, or go to therapy with them and see what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I would say try both and
Yeah.
see, you know,
Hmm.
I would just say
Yeah.
try both and see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Try something.
Yeah,
Try
do
something.
something in a
Yeah.
positive direction.
We have my husband and I have a marriage. She's a licensed therapist, so we started out in as it sort of marriage therapy, but it's more turned into marriage coaching. But she has a specialty with couples where there's an element of neurodiversity.
Mhm.
And so, what we've found, just as a plug for support in marriage coaching, is that sometimes there really isn't anything broken. It just could be better. And if you have those inklings of, oh gosh, like, why do I always wish this about my spouse? Why do I always get bummed or disappointed like when this happens? And it's a constant, or it's a repetitive disappointment,
Mhm.
that can grow, and that disappointment can turn into bitterness, and that bitterness can turn
Mhm.
into a lot more. And so I'm so grateful that for me, I have a husband that was like, hey, yeah, like if we need to figure out how to better communicate, because he does communicate so differently. I mean, I know they say men and women do different, but it's like,
Mhm.
okay, like something, we really need
Mhm.
to figure out how to talk to each other and how to
Yeah.
communicate. And so it's been the best. Like it's been the biggest blessing. We've told our coach, like she's she's part of our family now. Like, I mean, not literally.
Wow.
We're not even in the same state, but we're like, sorry, you're stuck with us now till death do us part.
What? Great. Yeah.
And so
Love
I
it.
think like you have that, opportunity to see inside families and become part of someone's family. And how does that feel for you as a marriage coach?
I love that. I want to be that for people. And I realized early on, I can't save everybody and help like
Yeah.
everybody. And I want to eventually get into like, like group coaching. But to
Hmm.
know that I have affected somebody's life and marriage, and I've got clients like that I have helped, is such a great, and it's just such a to help their life, because that's helping their legacy or their children. And you don't know what is going to become of that. We don't see 20 years down or whatever. You don't know how that affects someone, because children are deeply affected and changed by marriage problems and divorce.
Yeah.
Like it's like there's no way around that. But the married couple in trouble really thinks that they can get away with it, that the
Hmm.
children are be better off, and they won't. They will
Yeah.
not come out unscathed. And not even adult children. It affects adult children almost, I think, even worse than smaller children. They really struggle with the parents,
Yeah.
splitting up. But it's such an honor to just let God take your pain, the pain I was in. And, a few of my friends, no, they saw me. They were like, oh my God, Stephanie was a hot mess. Like I cried all the time. To be so different now is it's like night and day from where I used to be,
Mm, yeah,
you
that's
know?
amazing.
Yeah. But to help somebody else's marriage is great.
Yeah.
It is.
So you also coach women. So you said earlier that, you said, okay, I'm gonna just coach single women. And what do you hope for the women that will come to you at Nectarfull in coaching? What do you love about coaching just women?
Well, one, because I'm a woman, so we women all can really relate to each other. And it doesn't matter what race we are, we all go through the same
Yeah.
thing. We have the same emotions, the same feelings, the same problems, and we can relate. I want women to really understand that I'm the type of woman or coach that fights for you and it's in your corner with you because I understand what it's like to be a Christian, be in pain, be struggling with your marriage or a child, and sometimes struggling with that in secret. Okay?
Yep.
You can be having all the yahoos and hallelujahs and the go good, whatever. How are you doing? Great, blessed, highly favored. And you go home and you're struggling secretly, pain. I had a woman come to me, husband was in a secret affair for years. No one in her church knew. And she came to me. This was like a complete secret because she didn't want anybody to know. See? So there are women who are struggling in secret,
Yeah.
and I get that. And so you don't want anybody to know. So I want women to know that can be married women, single women, or married women that the husband's not coming, that you don't have to do it alone because
Mm.
we're not supposed to fight our battles by ourselves. I never would have made it had my spiritual mom, Doris, a friend of mine,
Hi,
Christy.
Doris.
Yes, friend of mine, Christy. A couple other friends, people who were there for me,
Mm.
who just let me cry, who just let me be there. A friend named Robin, um,
Mm.
just different women
Yeah.
who were outside of my situation, but just really cared for me. Woman named Debbie, she helped me.
Mm.
Just different women
Yeah.
were there that we don't have to fight our battles by ourselves. And you really cannot go through something alone.
Yeah.
God didn't design us to do that.
Yep.
And you don't need to have any shame over it because I understand all the ick, the nasty, like all of it. Like I get it. Being
Mm.
a Christian woman, you can be good one day, be in the pit, tanked out the next day,
Yep.
hardly believing in your faith. God, I'm struggling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm the
100%.
woman who will come to your house and get you, what do you need? Okay, it's time to get up. I'll let you
Yeah.
cry, but like, okay, let's go. We gotta stomp the devil in the ground.
Yes.
Can't stay in this space.
I can totally see you doing that too, literally.
Let's go, girl. Oh, I am so that woman.
See that.
I'll cry
I
with
can
you.
totally see that.
Here's our Kleenexes. Oh my God. Girl, he's so awful. I just I'll
Mhm.
let you fuss, get it out. And then I'm like, okay, we got to pray for him. We got to pray. We got to pray for these children. You got to get
Mhm.
up. It's time to get on with your purpose. You got to live for God. Let's go. You can't stay
Yeah.
in. You're gonna die if you stay in
Yeah.
this spot.
Yeah.
You will die in this spot.
Yeah. I always say that about that's one of my favorite things about coaching is helping others understand that they have an advocate, that they have an ally,
Yes,
even when they don't believe in themselves, that there
that's
is
right.
someone that is showing up for them
That's
to say,
right.
like, no, I'm here to help you. Be your cheerleader, you
That's
know?
right.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Because when you're going through and getting beat down, you don't feel like you can make it. And
Hmm.
sometimes you just need somebody to say, girl, you're strong. You can make it. You
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
this. Come on. I'm going with you. You can do. That's how I
Yeah.
made it.
Yeah.
My spiritual mom and friends were with me all the time. And it's so funny because they would come, people would do things for me at strategic times and had no
Mhm.
idea that I needed, that I was about to commit suicide or was really thinking
Mhm.
about it. Or I'm telling you, people
Yeah.
just do not know. When I
Yeah.
write my memoir, it will be a page turner.
Book number, what will that be?
I don't even know. I don't even know, but it'll
Yeah.
be a,
Well, for anyone that watches us, hopefully they get to this point
yeah.
of our video. What do you want them to know, both couples and women that might come to Nectarful looking for coaching? What do you want them to know about what they will experience with you as their coach?
Okay, I want them to know, one, there is hope,
Yeah.
because we live in the world, and the world is completely with it's like just turn on the news for 5 minutes. You
Mm.
feel completely hopeless. You just like, is Jesus coming in the next five
Mhm.
minutes? Like, it's so bad.
Yes.
So couples are feeling hopeless. There is hope. There
Mhm.
is strength, and that God is still alive on the throne and with you, that with him, nothing is impossible,
Mhm.
that you can do this. You might need to do it on crutches. You might need to do it on a wheelchair. You might need to do it on a cane, but you can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm the person who, I don't just let you just give up.
Mhm.
I call my clients, I bug them. How you doing? Is it
Oh,
okay? Want you to make it. And I tell you, I will tell my clients all the time, you are strong. You can do this.
yeah.
Like, you can do this. What you can make it. You don't
Mhm.
have to give up. And even if you fall or fail, I still love you and care about you. But it has to be your choice.
Right.
It has to be your choice. I can't force you. I can't make you. And that people need to come to Nectarful, because
Mhm.
we have all different types of coaches.
Yeah.
Like, I have some people, like we have the parenting coach. I
Mhm.
think would be great even for adult children, because people don't know this. Adult children are hard.
Mhm.
They are difficult. And a lot of our adult children still live with us, and they are causing pain for parents. And the parents need a coach, even for adult children, for
That's a
themselves.
really great point. That's a whole other show we
Yes.
could do on that.
Yes. You and Nikki. No, not Nikki. What's her name?
Melinda. Melinda's
Melinda.
our
That's right.
resident parent coach. Parenting.
Yeah. People who are struggling with adult children need a parent coach to just help them, or just someone to talk to or cry with.
No.
Transformational coaches. We have the gamut. We have transformational. We have
Mhm.
marriage. We have intimacy coach, parent coach.
Yeah.
Um,
Career purpose path.
that's right.
I do a little executive coaching. I do
That's right.
leadership coaching. Yeah, I mean, we've got both professional,
Mhm.
personal, spiritual. Brenda's our courage coach. Bethany does boundaries.
That's right.
And
Boundary
yeah,
coach. So that's needed. And all the time, it's not therapy, because
right.
I think the therapists don't really get in there, like, like, I don't know, they don't really bond with you. They,
Right.
they have to have a boundary. They don't really bond with you.
Yeah, they're taught how to not create
That's
emotion.
right. Yeah, don't create a connection, where we create more of a connection, not too deep, but more of a connection. It's like, that's needed. I think that's just
Yeah.
really, really, really needed.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
enough. It's I love in our coaching training, it talks about, really mirroring and matching and
Mhm.
to create authentic connections
Mhm.
and that's what I love about coaching. I'm a connector. I'm a deep feeler. I
Yeah,
want to have that deep connection with people. I don't like small talk. I like really
yeah,
getting like to know people. And so I think God's definitely called me in the right direction for
yeah,
that.
yeah. I think so too. I do, because when we first met on our team's call, I immediately felt a connection.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I don't even know what this is. It was just, I literally felt this deep connection. So yeah,
Mm,
I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Well, you were just meant to be part of my family, our little Nectarful family
Yes,
right away. Right
I
away. I
love
know I
it.
texted the other girls and I was like, I met our newest coach.
just love it. And I feel like I know all of them through you. It's just,
Yeah.
I just love the platform. It's great. People
Mm,
who are looking for help really need to like reach out. Like they
mm.
really do. God's given you a great, great plan for how coaches can help people. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It
It's
is
exciting.
good. It is good. I love it.
Well, anything else you want to share? I want to say you've got people should look for your name on Amazon because all of her 18 books, including the cookbooks, right, are
Mhm.
on Amazon. And so look for Stephanie Carter and she comes right up. And so you've got some cool things and you're working on a sequel, right?
Yes, I one of the books that I wrote years ago when my kids were young, when they were kids. Now they were 8 and 14, and maybe like 9, and 15. I wrote a book called The Manual: Raising Sons in a Fatherless Society. And my oldest son actually gave me that title, The Manual. And so I've always wanted to write a part two to that book when they were adults, and I had to wait for them to be adults. So now that they're
Yeah,
adults,
I
who
love it.
I'm very, 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 very proud of. They're not like perfect children,
Yeah,
but they're darn near close. Let me just tell you. But
yeah,
they are just great sons. But they have their adult challenges
yeah.
that literally drive me up the yin yang wall sometimes. And it's because our adult children, we see their lives and we see the decisions they make, and we know, dude, that is not going to work. She
Yes.
is not the one. That is not good. Why are you? Why does Amazon, FedEx come here every day? What are you like that? And other things. And so the sequel is, how do you pray for your adult children? But this time I'm
Mm,
including females. How do you pray, start creating a legacy, praying this for your adult children? And I'm trying to create a prophetic journal that goes with the book. And so it's a journal that you would create for each of your children, prayers you prayed over them, words
mm,
that the Lord's given you for them, different things that you see about their life, direction that they will read that
yeah.
one day, and they will have that. And so the book is going to talk about just different aspects of their adult lives and how to
Mhm.
navigate that, you as the parent. Just I don't even want to give it away right now, but it's God's been giving me, like, I've just been dumping in my computer outlines of things about this, like
Yeah.
certain ways to pray, how to do warfare. What if you have a child that you just can't communicate with? What do you do?
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
type of thing. Just different things that God has shown me, because the enemy is after our children,
Yeah.
adult children, because what's happened is they've grown up in church, then they've become adults and they've left God.
Yep.
Why? That shouldn't be happening. So how do we as women, mothers,
Mm,
join and pray for these children that are tanking out their walk with God and the legacy
mm,
for all of our children?
mm,
Like, are we really doing this?
mm,
I say, I know a lot of people that aren't.
mm.
Women are praying for their children individually, but we're not joining up with other women to do it. That's
Pray for all
something.
children.
Yeah, all the like that's just part something, one chapter in the book. Find you a group of women that you all can pray for children, for
Mhm.
y'all's children who are women are struggling, mothers are struggling alone about a child, but not hooking up with another woman where you can fight the enemy, because you're not going to
Mhm.
on your own. It's just
Right.
the devil's going to wear you out. You need a prayer covering. So that's like part of it. How do we save the legacy of our adult children?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Man.
keep it past. So I'm just sort of working on that, slowly in
Yeah.
the background.
Oh my gosh. I love just your energy. Yeah, and your passion. I'm so excited that you joined Nectarfull, and I'm
Me
even more
too.
excited for the people that are going to get to experience you as their coach. And nectarfull.com, go to our team page. You can read all about Stephanie there and more about marriage coaching. And if you have any questions, you can have a 30-minute free discovery call with Stephanie or any of our Nectarfull coaches. Well, Stephanie, thanks. I know it's late your time. We're on opposite coasts. So I know it's been super late. So thanks for hanging out with me tonight
You're
late.
welcome. I've loved it. I've enjoyed it.